Let's pray, please. Almighty and eternal supreme being, the light of all lights, the creator of the universe, we give thanks and sing your praise alone. For you are our God and protector. Supreme being, please continue to bestow upon us your mercies and compassion, that we shall please and be pleased with all in our city of San Fernando, that we shall glorify your name to the world through our examples. Almighty being, may your light shine upon this city and our country, and keep us away from all forms of darknesses, and that we shall always acknowledge your greatness, for without your presence, nothing will be achieved. Peace and love. Amen. Amen.
Have a seat, please.
Mr. CEO, members of administration, ladies and gentlemen, I am Inspector Dexter Martin of the San Fernando Municipal Police Station. It is with great pleasure that I deliver this safety briefing this morning. Please be informed that there are 2 points of egress to this council chamber. One being on my left, which is the door we all use to enter the chamber. The other on my right, which is the fire escape. God forbid that there is reason for us to evacuate this council chamber. We shall do so by proceeding to any one of the points of egress in an orderly fashion, preferably the one nearest to you or most convenient to you. We will then exit this building and gather at the muster point, which is located on Harris Promenade in the vicinity of the bandstand, where a head count will be executed to ensure that everyone is accounted for. Thank you.
Minutes of the 16th statutory meeting is now being read, and the meeting is called to order. We look for corrections and omissions from page 1. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Can I ask a Commissioner, please?
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, move for the confirmation of the minutes of the 16th statutory meeting of the 10th San Fernando City Council held on Wednesday, the 25th of April, 2018.
Can I get a second?
His Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, I, Alderman Thomas, rise to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Matters arising. Page 2. Three. 4. 5. 11.11 and 11.12, just to inform members that we have agreed on the changes so far with the traffic management team, which consists of the TTPS, the traffic management, traffic warden, and our municipal police. And all the changes that we have made to date will be gazetted and confirm and become permanent. As you would know, those changes were on a trial basis, on a month-to-month basis, which we referring to the changes on Lord Street, which is now going east to west, as opposed to what transpired before on the changes on Lower Chacon Street, which is now a two-way, and Lower St. Vincent Street, which is now a two-way. Those changes will be gazetted, and the Minister of Works has been informed, as well as the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, and that will become permanent until, well, further notice. There are several recommendations for changes. We are looking at Coffee Street, where you now have most of the outlets from Coffee Street is now going north to south. One or two residents have complained because Henry Street, which is adjacent to Belgroves, is now a one-way from Coffee Street to Maiden Street, which is the first portion of that street. The sentiments and the view of the committee members was that we were trying to, in peak hours, avoid traffic converging onto Coffee Street, because Coffee Street is the main artery coming into San Fernando, and when you have to constantly stop to allow traffic to converge, it creates a backlog. And we are asking the residents to use Superior Street or other outlets to get back onto Coffee Street if you have to, or to move out. So that continues to be a problem, because the residents are having great difficulty, and I'm sure the councillor for the area will know what I'm talking about, to make that adjustment. My recommendation is that we use Maiden Street, which is the street just before Superior Street, as a two-way, so they can enter Coffee Street from there rather than go back to Superior Street. And look at that space in front, the Panman statue. There's sufficient space there for us to create another lane to allow traffic going onto Superior Street. So we continue to make changes as we go along. It's not a perfect plan, but we can see, based on feedback that we have been getting, that there's considerable improvement. And if we have to prepare the city for what we expect, this bumper and upsurge in business, we have to be ready and be road ready as well. So we're making changes as we go along, and we are inviting the public as well to make suggestions and recommendations that we will entertain. Our next traffic management meeting is next week, Thursday morning, when the major stakeholders will meet. So people, concerned citizens who may have views and thoughts that we'll consider, can submit it to the mayor's office. 7 is the San Fernando Police Station. Members, we are looking at that station, what was burnt on in 2009. We were able to get volunteers to reshrub and clean and power wash and clear out the debris so far. And anybody looking outside or passing the promenade could look at the progress we have made. The next step is to have the station more or less repaired. We'll be talking to the various stakeholders and see how it can be done. A letter was sent out to the Prime Minister last week for his views and thoughts on that. And this is a work in progress, and I will keep members informed as we go along. We now move to page 6. The San Fernando Waterfront project. I know people have been asking about that. Where are we with it in terms of status of the project? I had a long chat with the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West this morning, and I want to say that there's light, more than light. The light at the other end of the tunnel is beaming down now where this project is concerned. And I will say that maybe in a couple of months or so, we'll be making that move. The major bugbear with this project really was the removal of PTSC. PTSC currently occupies about 14 acres of land space in the waterfront area. So they are the major obstacle. Once they are removed, we'll be able to start the project. At a meeting held last week with the Member of Parliament and the other stakeholders, they have agreed to move to the OAS site in Golconda with immediate effect. Once PTSC starts that movement, we will start the process of engaging other stakeholders to start the waterfront project. And as I said before, there are 14 acres of land space to be occupied, and it's really exciting times for San Fernando, and I must tell members here and the public by extension that we should prepare ourselves for what seems to be a boom for San Fernando. Um, 12.1, Administrative Professional Day. Councillor Joseph, you're responsible for that? Want to give us a report?
Your Worship, members, Mr. CEO, members of Council, members of Admin. Administration Day, Professional Day in the city was a success. We visited all the departments and gave to the professionals a small token of our appreciation on behalf of His Worship and the CEO, and it was the admin professionals were quite pleased, and they were excited and promised that they will continue to give back to the community, back to our corporation and to the community at large.
As we're in that mood, I'll also ask the Deputy CEO to give us a report. I understand that there was another event this week, a late celebration for mothers. Deputy CEO will give us a report.
The late celebration for Mother's Day. It was a lovely event. We had singing, and I got good support from the Alderman Thomas and Nigam. I think the staff was well pleased, and they really appreciated something being done, and I really thank the council and the CEO for making that opportunity available to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy, for your maiden speech in the chamber and for your first project, which, from what I gather, was a tremendous success. We are on to page 7. And we'll just highlight the temporary road work exercise that was done by the company, by the asphalt processing company. And they are bringing in a new equipment, a new system, baggage for dealing with potholes, and that's a patching solution. I know that there were a couple of containers due, and this was done as a experimental basis, and from what I gather, it has been a success. So something we can look forward to in terms of if we have a stopgap measure or immediate kind of attention required. This any other matter on page 7? CEO announcements.
Your Worship the Mayor, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, at this time I rise to recognize the passing of the following. We have Ms. Samdeya Sankar, the mother of a FCC employee, Kamwati Sankar, who belongs to the Accounts Department, who passed on the 25th of April 2018. She was buried on the 28th of April 2018 at the age of 66. The funeral was held at the home in St. Mary's Village, and then to the Rochard Road, Douglas Cemetery. Secondly, we have Mr. Hugh Roberts, who was also a former employee of the Transport Department of our beloved San Fernando City Corp. He died as well on the 28th of April 2018, buried on the 2nd of May 2018, aged 58 years old. The funeral was held at the Belgroves Funeral Home and then to the Rudall Cemetery. Additionally, we have Mr. Jeshwana Fletcher, Miss Jeshwana Fletcher, the daughter of Antoinette Jack, who is also a casual employee of the Southeastern Ward. She was only 18 years of age. She died from a rare form of cancer in her heart on the 8th of May this year, 2018. She was also buried on the 15th of May. The funeral was held at the Rudall Cemetery. At this time, I also want to pay homage to my own aunt, Ajija Hasmat from Crossing, San Fernando, aged 51, who died last Thursday, the 24th of May, also from pancreatic cancer. She was a teacher at the Marabella North Secondary, and she was, the funeral was held at Laramine Church and then to the Paradise Cemetery on Saturday. And making this announcement, this is the 5th aunt on my mom's side that we have lost in the last 5 consecutive years, all from cancer. And there are 14 of them. Finally, if I may, we have one more obituary, and this comes out from Marabella East, and it's a young man who has moved on to be in places that are not earth. His name is Noah Simmons. It is well publicized that he, if you may just permit me to just get this document. Thank you. So Noah Simmons was born on May the 8th, 2002, and he died on May the 8th, 2018, on his 16th birthday. He was a fourth form pupil of the Shiva Boys College at Clark Road, Penal, and he was a part of the school's successful football team. When Noah Simmons was just 13 years old, he walked onto the compound of the Shiva Boys College, Hindu College, in Penal alone, and requested to speak with the principal. Already a tall, handsome young man with grey eyes, Noah made a stirring plea to the principal, Mr. Dexter Stacklal, to allow him to transfer to the school. Stacklal was immediately impressed with his courage, and within a few weeks, Noah was enrolled in Shiva Boys. During his time there, Stacklal said he made an impact on his classmates and the members of the school's football team, of which he was a valuable asset. He played in the secondary school's football league under 16 competition in 2017, and he was a member of the school's under 14 SSFL national champions team. Simmons was also an avid footballer with the Marabella Family Crisis Center and was expected to spend some time there with his friends on his birthday. Noah is gone, but he certainly will not be forgotten.
Thank you, Councillor Sugrib.
Members of administration, I rise in memory of two persons who have passed that are of note. One is Pandit Ramnarayan Rampasad, who was born on the 6th of June 1933. He was a well-known attorney here in San Fernando, also a prolific business and property owner in San Fernando. He died on the 18th of May 2018, and the funeral took place on the 20th of May. He was the father of Justice Devendra Rampasad, also of San Fernando. And I also would like to acknowledge, Your Worship, the passing of Mrs. Margaret Whitehead, founder and owner up to her death, major shareholder of the Victoria Nursing Home, earlier this month. Thank you, Your Worship.
And I would like to add one more as well, the proprietor of Statutory's Barbecue Hut, who unfortunately lost his life some time ago on the crossing. And we want to extend condolences to his family, and may we all stand for a minute's silence. May the souls of the faithfully departed rest in peace and rise in the glory of heaven. Thank you. It's not unaccustomed to get emotional thinking about people who have passed. It is very particularly those who might listen to Councillor Sugrib's situation with cancer. My mom also died at age 51 with cancer, and he said that story just started going through my mind. And for those who do not know, I had surgery for cancer in 2000. So it seriously disturbed me, and I must apologize for my state a minute ago. We now move on to papers for correspondence.
Good morning again, Your Worship, members of council, members of admin. Your Worship, we have some letters of appreciation to be read into the statutory meeting. First item, Trinidad and Tobago Federation of Women Institute, Victoria District. The above named organization thank you and the members of the City Corporation for their support to our community outreach initiative, Stop the Violence, held on Saturday, 21st of April 2018 from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Revival Time Assembly, Lady Hills Avenue facility. Your representative, Ms. Laverne Smith, was greatly appreciated, and we are willing to continue to support and assist communities in their outreach projects. The issue of Stop the Violence is not just for this event, as we intend to follow the United Nations mandate to women's organizations to sensitize communities, especially on the designated date of the 25th
of each month by hosting an event. Respectfully yours, Ms. Gloria Copeland. Second item, Soroctomis International San Fernando. On behalf of President Rowena Watley and Soroctomis International Club, I would like to thank you for your unstinted support in partnering with us to make San Fernando inaugural light up blue event possible. You recognize the value of raising not just awareness but acceptance to our community autistic citizens. Thank you for your suggestion and for placing your staff at our disposal. This making the function a success. We look forward to continue strengthening of the relationship between you, your office, and our club. Sincerely, Rabina Khan. Next item, Christian Historical Society. We desire our gratitude, your graciousness, and participating in the special Thanksgiving service for Christian churches in the city held on Sunday the 29th of April 2018 at the St. Paul Anglican Church. The occasion was memorable, and we are thankful to God that we were able to share in this historic event in recognition of the 172nd anniversary of the historic granting of lands to the Christian churches in the city by Governor Lord Harris on 20th of April 1846. Indeed, blessings on your work to the people of the city of San Fernando and environs. May God continue to grant you wisdom and strength as you fulfill the duties of your office. In the service of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, signed Apostle Terence Honoré. Marabella Family Crisis Center. Sincerest thanks and appreciation for your favorable response and genuine act of kindness bestowed upon the youth of Marabella and environs. The transformative work being conducted with these exceptional young men will not only have an impact on their lives, but will also transcend generations. It is our hope that we can have continuous collaboration between both organizations for the empowerment of our clients who sometimes see little or nothing beyond the horizon, but the simple task they set themselves. It is with great emphasis that we give a heartfelt thanks to you and your beloved organization once again for the continuous support you provided to the seamless service of the Marabella Family Crisis Center. May God continue to richly bless you. Signed, Terence Bozin. Thank you letter for a wonderful Mother's Day function 2018 to His Worship the Mayor and Council from a grateful employee. Next item, St. Luke Medical Clinic. I am most exhilarated with your incredible efficiency. Within 1 day of delivery of my appeal, I noticed all garbage removed. It was a wonderful display of extraordinary efficiency, and I congratulate you for it. You have restored my faith in good politics and convinced me that there are good and wonderful people among us. Thank you, Dr. Arthur E. Chen. Next item, from the Embassy of Peru in Trinidad and Tobago. In my capacity as Ambassador of the Republic of Peru in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, I would like to present my gratitude to you. It is in this regard I express to you my appreciation for your kindness, interest in sharing with us the wonders and beauties of your city. While desiring your continuous prosperity, I avail myself of this opportunity to express to you the assurance of my distinguished consideration. Signed, Luis R. Hernandez, Ambassador, Embassy of Peru in Trinidad and Tobago. On behalf, it's by a volunteer community worker, Carl Lizama. On behalf of the citizens of San Fernando, I take this opportunity to thank you for your consideration and thoughtfulness in an attempt to rid the vagrants from our iconic bandstand. This is in keeping with our city's motto of Sanitas Forte, working together ensures a sustainable and cleaner city. Signed, Carl Lizama. The last item, Your Worship, the President, Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, thank you for your kind message of felicitation on my appointment as President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, conveyed on behalf of the members of Council and Administration and the citizens of the city of San Fernando. Your expression of encouragement and support have infused me with the energy and determination necessary for my task ahead. As you would no doubt appreciate, I am in the course of settling into office and familiarizing myself with the many and varied functions that demand my attention. However, as soon as it becomes possible for me to pay a visit to your city in response to your kind invitation, for which I thank you, the office will contact you and make the necessary arrangements. Signed, Paula May Weeks. That's it, Your Worship.
I must inform members that I have been in touch with Her Excellency, and we expect a visit from her, and we'll be preparing for that. We move on to committee reports for acceptance. Finance planning, allocation of resources.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of Council, members of Administration, I rise and ask for the acceptance for the finance planning and allocation of resources meetings held on the 28th of March, the 10th of April, and the 17th of April 2018.
Seconder.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of Council, I beg to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Public health.
Good morning, Your Worship, members of Council, Mr. CEO, members of Administration. I, Alderman Johannes Dionerain, do rise for the acceptance for the Public Health Committee reports of meeting held on the 10th of April 2018.
Second.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of Council, I beg to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Physical infrastructure and transport.
Good morning, Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of Council, members of Administration. Councillor Arnold Sugrim rise for the acceptance of the physical infrastructure and transport report of meeting held on the 17th of April 2018.
Second, please.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. CEO, members of Council, members of Administration, Springville Paradise, second the motion.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Personnel.
Council, I, Alderman Thomas, rise for the acceptance of the Personnel Committee report held on the 17th of April 2018.
Second.
Good morning, Your Worship, members of Council, Mr. CEO, members of Administration. I, Alderman Johannes Dionerain, do second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Committee reports for adoption, planning and development.
Good morning, Your Worship, members of Council, Mr. CEO, members of Administration. I rise for the adoption of the Planning and Development Committee report of meeting held on 17th April 2018.
Assalamu alaikum. Seconder, please.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of Council, Koke Turbo rise to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Mr. We have to extend that mic for Councillor Lynch. We have back problems. Parks and Institution.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of Council, I move for the adoption of the Parks and Institution Committee report meeting held on the 17th of April 2018.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of Council, members of Administration, Marabella East is pleased to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. General purposes.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of Council, I move for the adoption of the General Purpose Committee report meeting held on the 17th of April 2018.
Your Worship, members of Council, CEO, members of Administration, laissez-faire East Pero rises to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Education and Youth Development.
Your Worship, members of Council, CEO, members of Administration, I, Vidya Mangal Bisasa, Deputy Mayor and Councillor for laissez-faire East Pero, rises for the adoption of the Education and Youth Development Committee report of the meeting held on the 17th of April 2018.
Can I have a seconder, please?
Your Worship, members of council, Mr. CEO, I, Alderman Shane Samuel, do rise to second the motion.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. May we have culture and the arts?
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, I rise to ask for the adoption of the Culture and Arts meeting held on the 10th of April 2018.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, Koke Turbo rise to second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Councilman, are you wearing heels today? You're looking extra tall, standing tall. Public claims and liabilities.
Good morning, Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, ladies and gentlemen. I, Alderman Johannes Dienerijn, do rise for the adoption of Public Claims and Liabilities Committee report of meetings held on the 10th of April 2018.
Seconder.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Arbella East, so second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Sports and social services.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, I rise for the acceptance of the Sports and Social Services Committee report held on the 10th of April 2018.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Security and disaster.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, Koke Turbo rise for the adoption of the Security and Disaster Committee report meeting held on the 10th of April.
Can I have a seconder, please?
His Worship, members of Mr. CEO, members of council, I second same.
Can I get a second? Is there a seconder there? Okay, all in favor? Any against? Motion is carried. Tourism and heritage.
Your Worship, members of council, Mr. CEO, members of administration, I, Alderman Shane Samuel, do rise for the adoption of the Tourism and Heritage Committee report of meeting held on the 10th of April 2018.
Seconder.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Springville Paradise, so second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Assessment.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, I rise to ask for the adoption of the Assessment Committee meeting held on the 10th of April 2018.
Good morning, Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, I, Alderman Johannes Dienerijn, do second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? This motion is carried. So, do we have any petitions?
Your Worship, members of council, members of admin, no petition today.
Any motions?
No motion today, Your Worship.
Any personal explanations?
No personal explanation from admin, Your Worship.
Any questions?
No questions, Your Worship.
At this point, I'd like to ask Councillor Smith to bring greetings to East Indian brothers and sisters on this very significant occasion of Indian Arrival Day.
I am given the simple task of bringing greetings on behalf of this corporation, this council, to my East Indian brothers and sisters. That is indeed a pleasure. We here at the San Fernando City Corporation wish to extend our sincerest greetings on this auspicious occasion to all of our people who came to this land. The East Indian indentured laborers traveled what may have seemed a lifetime from their homes to create opportunities and gain success. They brought with them their foods, music, instruments, dress, jewelry, traditions, and religious beliefs, all of which played a momentous part in our journey as a nation. We proudly celebrate the influence of the East Indian community to our society and its growth in features of religion, business, politics, family systems, music, dance, education, cuisine, agriculture, beliefs, and customs. We, as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, have come too far in our progress to turn back. Regardless of our origins, we are the result of the spirit of our ancestors, and this resilience is what has made that essential Trinbagonian spirit which we all possess. We would like to take this opportunity to renew our commitment to all of our people who came to this land, to continue to struggle with them side by side, to overcome these challenges as well as preparing them for new challenges. In particular, we pledge to continue to work to remove the bane of racism and racial discrimination from this land, to forge ethnic, religious, and class unity among all our people, and build a society governed by the rule of the law, and where the constitutional rights and freedom of our people are not only respected, but are protected and advanced. So let us flow onwards to reveal our truest potential. As we look at our rainbow nation, we can feel it, the power of our collaboration, the power of our unity. So indeed, we must continue to live the words of our national motto: together we aspire, together we achieve. Let this celebration be a celebration of arrival, the arrival of our East Indian brothers and sisters, and all other ethnic groups which have contributed to the creation of a unique nation, a diverse culture, and our melting pot of beauty. Happy Indian Arrival Day to all. Thank you.
Smith, for your eloquence and your the way you conducted that very thoughtful and inspiring contribution on Indian Arrival Day. As is the customary, we share at this time we share our thoughts, vision, and for this council as well as decisions made in the past month or so. It's my privilege to have been invited last week to the American Embassy, by the American Embassy, to attend a function and events in the United States. But before I go into that, I also want to speak briefly about the relationship that we have developed with the American Embassy. Recently, Mr. Martin attended a function in Port Spain, a workshop on issues related to crime from the American Embassy's perspective, based on their experiences and based on their knowledge. And based on the feedback that he gave us, I will probably ask him to share some of his thoughts with us before I proceed on what that experience is like, because I'm sure it was very enlightening, and share his insight with us, please.
Your Worship, members of council, members of administration, Mr. CEO. The workshop was based on community awareness briefing. It deals with the issues that gets young people, youths as well, involved in gang-related issues, who gets involved with rebel gangs and so on, for instance, ISIS and these other gangs. It gives you the teachings of what to look for in the youth and even young adults, what to look for in the event that they have any inkling or any ideas of going to these rebel gangs and so on. Councillor Smith was in attendance at that workshop as well. We had some practical experiences. We also had documentation as it relates to persons who went to ISIS. Some of them died in Syria. Some of them were saved and returned to their respective homes. We also entwined those teachings of the U.S. Embassy to Trinidad and Tobago, what is happening in today's society as it relates to crime. And we sort of more or less twinned it and brought it home. So these same issues, the issues hasn't changed. It's just the different gangs and so on. They spoke about the ISIS, Rasta city and the unruly ISIS in the central area, and youths who have joined with them and who had plans of leaving Trinidad to go to other foreign nations with these rebel gangs. So it was very informative. There will be some follow-up. As a matter of fact, the U.S. Embassy have stated that they're going to revisit the theory on the issue and do it to suit the local environment. So I would like to personally say thank you for the opportunity to attend that two-day workshop. It was very informative, and indeed I will use what has been taught by me to better the community at large.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. And it was tailored for specific groups. We had also citizens from the Bayshore area, which Councillor Smith represented the Bayshore area and the Mbakade area. We selected people who, with that background and who at risk and who would have had practical experience coming from that type of community and environment. The gentleman from Mbakade was high in praise for giving them that opportunity to get an understanding, especially at risk individuals. So, because there's a view that the American embassy is about processing visas, but it's much more than that. They bring to the country their vast experience in terrorism and extremism and that type of thing that we need to look at, because we have a lot of at-risk young people who are vulnerable because of the situation in this country that exists, particularly with employment and unemployment. My trip to the States last week dealt with two specific areas. We dealt with Washington, which dealt with governance and control and government, and the trip to Los Angeles dealt with communities and what you spoke about, and to see how the council operate there. They dealt with the threats of extremism, at-risk youths, the role of policing in communities, interaction with social groups, threats of gang warfare and tactics to counter such, and overall governance. Being based in Washington, you had the opportunity to see how the government operates and how they function, and how they provide protection for the citizens, and as I spoke about again, governance. Los Angeles dealt specifically with the communities and the mayor's office and how the mayor operates in Los Angeles. The mayor there has a staff of 200 people. I mean, it's amazing when you look at how the building itself, the city hall is about 24 stories, and that's how the city hall functions there. So it was a tremendous opportunity. From time to time, I'll be sharing some of my experiences with members of council. At this point, I'd like to also acknowledge in our presence the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce and their chairman, Mr. Kiran Singh, who is here with us this morning visiting. I think we're going to acknowledge them. This business is a consortium of over a membership of 50 persons, business owners of San Fernando, and I think they had the election 2 weeks ago, I think it is. And the name of the organization is the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce. What I like about this is the tone, Greater San Fernando, as it encompasses not only High Street, but Mokorapo Street and Coffee Street and Marabella. See, Council Smith, not even want to say Marabella and the environment, but it is about Greater San Fernando. Right. This body has recognized the necessity that businesses and entrepreneurs in San Fernando work towards strengthening the relationship with each other, and importantly, the city of San Fernando. The membership of Greater San Fernando fully understands that the thriving economy and the development of San Fernando is determinant on a robust business environment. The economic reality of business in San Fernando requires to return to prominence as a primary shopping district in the Southern District. As such, they have decided to take a unified approach, taking into consideration the opinions and lessons learned from a multitude of businesses across all industries. This will be applied in the formation of a comprehensive strategy for the way forward in a democratic fashion. For far too long, there has been a disconnect between businesses, citizens, and the San Fernando City Corporation, and this chamber promises to address this deficiency with immediate effect. On behalf of the Council of the San Fernando City Corporation, I look forward to working with the unified membership of the Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce towards bringing business and a robust private sector involvement back to the city of San Fernando. Okay. We looked at the homeless situation as it affects us and the whole of San Fernando, and trying to find solution to these problems. Again, my experience, people have been talking about San Fernando and the homeless persons we have here. Let me just share this with you. In Los Angeles, they have over 45,000 homeless persons. 45,000. And outside of City Hall is where they sleep in Los Angeles. And I sent pictures to members of council so they can see, because we have been dealing with this matter. What we have done in the past couple of weeks is to protect the bandstand from further vandalization. We were permitted to repair the railing and install a barrier to prevent individuals from misusing the bandstand. This was a stopgap measure to mitigate damage to the structure, but this does not address the pressing concern of the displaced on the streets of San Fernando. In 2017, the San Fernando City Corporation, as well as other regional corporations, were heavily involved with the Ministry of Social Development and the development of a policy and strategy towards finding solutions towards reducing the number of socially displaced in Trinidad. The solutions requires reformation of legislation, the strengthening of public and private institutions, and the development of a proper infrastructural projects that will definitely strengthen our social safety net and provide the required assistance to those in need. As such, we continue to work with both government agencies and the private sector towards this cause. I will be discussing with the members of council a proposal to take control of the homeless shelter on Lady Hales Avenue. This shelter was the brainchild of the former mayor, Kazim Hussein, and supported by members of the past council. Currently, this building is languishing and is seemingly void of purpose. In this regard, I'll be speaking to the various stakeholders to activate this facility for the purpose it was intended for. I wish to highlight the continuous infrastructural work being carried out in San Fernando. We have recently installed a lay-by in front of San Fernando Teaching Hospital. This was done specifically to address the dropping off of passengers at this location. I ask that drivers properly utilize this addition for its purpose and not to use it as a parking alternative, which will defeat the purpose. Last November, I was invited to Angostura compound to discuss the possibility of introducing a drink synonymous with the identity of our city. In Port of Spain, there's a drink called I think it's the Queen's Park Swizzle. And that was done somewhere in the 50s, and it's very famous. It's a very strong drink. And Angostura is saying that, they want to do something for the city of San Fernando, and let us find a solution to that. Angostura will manage the process and provide technical assistance in the development of this unique drink. I have asked Ms. Paula Attili of Attili's where they're on Sutton Street now, on Sutton Street, to coordinate a meeting with the bartenders of San Fernando to begin this process, which will be launched for city celebration November of this year. I'd like to thank Angostura for this initiative, which will be a precursor to the new developments of the San Fernando that are very near in the horizon. And we must thank Giselle Laron of San Fernando and former Mr. and Tobago, who is spearheading this project for us, as you bring something unique to San Fernando. So we'll be looking for names for this drink. I know what we're going to call it, but it's going to be a strong drink that represents, that embodies the culture of San Fernando and the people of San Fernando. So it's for the public as well. Although Ms. Attili be coordinated this, the public will be free to drop in names. And I see Mr. Balboza from Pantry who's looking, he'll be thinking about a name for that, to drop in, as well as Mr. Kiran Singh of the Greater San Fernando. You all could be looking, give us a name that will be appropriate and will sound like San Fernando, as we find this drink that will be strong and represent us. But I would like to, finally, I'd like to announce that the San Fernando City Corporation was able to identify a new space for the Old Tech Steel Orchestra, and that band will now be housed in Pleasantville under the care of Councillor Paris. There's additional steel band to look after now. He already has Calomo Kings. In addition, you have 2 steel bands to look after, and that will strengthen his cause and his political ambition. As you all know, the art and culture hold a very special place to me, and I continue to champion the cause for the growth and development of the art and culture towards the protection of our cultural heritage. Old Tech Steel Orchestra have had some challenges where they were for over the past couple months, years I should say, and Mr. Barbosa had contacted me about this and see what we can do. And the old tech team came in and spoke with us, and I brought to the council. We had a discussion, and the members of council felt that we should rally and we should be there for you, and they came forward this recommendations. I want to officially inform you that we have made this space available for you until further notice. So congratulations, make the most use of it, and our COPSEC will be preparing a document that you'll have to sign off on. With these views, I thank you. So at this point, I would like to bring this meeting to a close.
Sean Ramsey, leader of Old Tech Steel Orchestra, San Fernando. Well, at this time, I would like to thank the council and, of course, Mr. Barbosa for intervening at this particular point. You know, Old Tech is going through a real serious up-the-hill challenge in the sense that we were evicted from our home that we were located at for the last 23 years. You will know much about it because you will have some pictures on YouTube and so on. You were there the morning together with Mr. Tulsi when all the pans and they are still to the back of the school. You don't have me removed as yet. Yes, and now we will have a chance to try to regroup. And again, thank Mr. Barbosa because we are still there because of development of this new development here. We will still be at Hatter's Spaniard, and we are presently at Hatter's Spaniard as we prepare for our upcoming events because I love to try to keep my band active. Makes no sense you have a set of pans and the band is not active. We are right now preparing for a lot of activity in one, namely We Beat. And we have some other developments to try to get the kids and them ready for our intense music program at the UE during the holidays, where we are sending about close to 10 of them again to do the sight reading program under the Republic Bank Pan Miners program. We are trying to get them ready for that program.
Morning. My name is David Balbusa, Chairman of the South Central Region of Trinbago. I am very pleased today I have to say I was very pleased this morning in the City Hall when the Mayor announced that the Council had decided to allocate a plot of land in Pleasantville for the Old Tech Steel Orchestra. I remember when Mr. Salvador and Mr. Ramsey came to me and were explaining to me as the chairman the problems they were having. And they were eventually evicted. And in that situation, they had to find a place to store their instruments, to continue their practice sessions. And as a committee member of the Hatter Steel Orchestra, I suggested to my committee, and we sat and discussed it. And as a result, we decided to house them on our premises and allow them to store their pans also within the vicinity, in the panyard and around. So as a result, we have been, from a Hatter's point of view, we have been trying to help from there. As chairman of the region, I heard Mr. Riguello says that he was in sympathy with the band and he was willing to try and help in whatever way he could. I approached him and told him that I was aware of there were 2 areas in Pleasantville that was offered to another steel band who didn't take it up. And I was asking him if he could see it within his purview and his council to assist the band by giving them one of the spots in Pleasantville. I'm happy this morning that this was done, and I'm happy that it came through, God willing. Thank you. Exactly what is the location? Is it near the community center?
Pleasant good morning. My name is Robert Paris. I am the councillor for Pleasantville. I am in the presence of, I would believe, some of my Pan family. I'm very pleased that Mr. Ramsey and the Old Tech Steel Orchestra is coming back to Pleasantville, where they started their roots at the Colomo Kings Pan Theatre. And I'm so pleased that Mr. Barbosa and his organization was able to house them for the last couple of months. I saw the YouTube video and I was very concerned, started to ask questions. The area that is being located for the Old Textile Orchestra is across from the Village Plaza, directly opposite to the Pleasantville Ward. It's a parcel of land that was allocated to the city corporation and was put out of commission as a stockpile yard. So therefore it was offered to another steel band, and unfortunately they, for whatever reason, they didn't want to move. And the mere fact of Old Tech, another steel band, coming to Pleasantville, I'm really excited because it fits right within the developmental plan for the community. I am seeing that PAN is an alternative to a better life. I'm seeing that PAN could save lives, and it can also serve as an incentive for our young people. We're giving young people an incentive, and I'm so excited to have Sean, who lives not too far away from his new location to be. He can just walk straight down the hill, and I am really excited to have him back in Pleasantville.
Are you videotaping on camera in a wooden boat? Ready? So, we were approached, the council was approached by the chairman of the South Central Region of Tobago to assist the Old Textile Orchestra in terms of the challenges with the former residents. Out of that, in discussion with the chairman, we invited the membership and the management of San Fernando Old Textile Orchestra to explain the situation to us. Based on that situation, I met the council to see what we could do to help a steel band that was struggling and needed assistance. And of course, you know, we have a passion for that. It's our responsibility as the council to assist anything that involves young people, keeping them on the right track. And we must commend this band in particular for the contribution they have made to San Fernando over the years in nurturing and producing a lot of young players. In this regard, we met with the council. I spoke to the councillor for this area, Councillor Robert Paris. We identified this spot on the outskirts of Pleasantville. We contacted the PAN Tobago and the band. We are here this morning to make this space available for them. It will require some infrastructure work to make it ready, but at least there's a space. They have a home, they can start bringing in the equipment. The corporation will use whatever resources we have to make it ready to assist. We're going to clear this space here, make it readily available. And of course, it will be a self-help project, and collectively we will find a solution to solving this problem as we move forward as they prepare the band for the future. So I'll ask the councillor to welcome them, because this is his area, to welcome another steel band in his community. He already has one, and it will strengthen his cause. So, Councillor Paris.
Thank you very much. Your Worship, a secret that Mr. Ramsey is not saying is that I'm welcoming his band back to Pleasantville, because they were formed out of the Colomo Kings PAN yard, and I'm really ecstatic to see that we have another PAN side in Pleasantville. This just shows the generosity of this council. This space was allocated to the city corporation many years ago by the HDC, as the lands here are vested into the HDC and the city corporation. We had a change of use for it in 2013, and because the city was using it as a stockpile yard, but it no longer is. So I'm really pleased to have Mr. Sean Ramsey of Old Textile Orchestra, and he has so many good plans, and I want to encourage him. I really think, and I know the mayor and I speak about PAN. I don't know if we are the two people on the council who love PAN. Now, he loves it more than me, but I have a vested interest in PAN, especially in the lives of our young people in this community. I believe that PAN can be used as a tool in the fight against crime, and really and truly, I am so happy to have Mr. Ramsey and Old Tech back in Pleasantville. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to say how happy I am to be on this site here today, because I know of the struggles that most of the steel bands in the region have. This is not the only steel band in the region that is facing eviction, but there are quite about 2 or 3 of them. But through our struggles at the regional executive level and our connections with the mayor and other people, we have been trying to find homes for the bands. I am happy to say that we have been successful so far to find a home for Old Tech. We still have Southlanders to try and find a home for, and we will not stop trying until we get a place for them also. So I will, as a result of that, I want to say thanks to Mr. Riguello and Mr. Paris for being of the kind of heart that goes out to try and make sure that we don't have delinquents in our streets by using the steel band to take the young people off the street. Thank you.
At this time, thanked His Worship the Mayor, the Council for Pleasantville, Mr. Paris, Mr. Barbosa, which part we are presently housed, and we are still there until development is finished at this particular site. And I want to strengthen the Mayor's point that, Old Tech will continue to train young people, to make sure that that the young people is a part of the steel band fraternity, and move on to higher heights. As I was telling them at an earlier voice, that we are preparing to send some of them to some music courses and whatnot. And to strengthen what Mr. Paris was saying, Old Tech really started as a summer project back in 1994 at Colombo King Spaniard, yes. And we grew from a school band into a conventional band, national conventional band, which we started in 2007 to present. And I must say thanks again. We are going to continue to move our band from one point to the next. And again, I say thank you.
Hey, don't leave me, Hey, Tony, I coming back there. Look, my equipment there.
Yeah, Sean Ramsey, leader of Old Tech. Again, expressing my gratitude to the mayor and also the councillor for Pleasantville for giving us this piece of land here for us to start to develop for our pan yard. At this particular time, any hardware, anybody who will be able to assist us at this time with regards to, material, and toilets, as the case may be, because we want to start as soon as possible. Give them, the opportunity to have something. You must be able to, try to, also, when you're getting help, also to at least, to try to, help yourself. So we are trying to make sure that, if there are people within the area, Ultec is a non-profit organization. It's an organization with a lot of young people. We are trying to promote the young people. We want to try to continue. In fact, not try, we're going to continue. And we're going to use Pleasantville as our new home. Incorporating this particular side of Pleasantville, because we don't want to interfere with Calomo Kings. Because I mean to say this, that's not what Sean Ramsey is about. I am about, you're occupying my space. We are in this particular side of Pleasantville. We're going to concentrate on this side of Pleasantville. I don't have nothing to take away. All hats off to Mr. Kleiner Placid and Jason Farrell and so on. And we are going to just continue flying the flag. We are now based in Pleasantville. And we are asking for any assistance from any hardware, Victoria Village, as the case may be, any type of material, so we could start to develop our area. I thank you.
You are most welcome. You're most welcome, and I'm really happy once again to reiterate that this is about unifying the community and saving the lives of the young people. And I am of the firm belief, as a lover of the national instrument, that PAN can save the lives of these young people. It is the only instrument that was invented in our century and has evolved and really and truly doesn't get the credit that it deserves. So the mere fact that Pleasantville can now host, actually Victoria Village has Panasonic, so you could kind of say with 3 bands, I would love to have even more, because at the end of the day, I would not like people to continue to stigmatize and say certain things about this community. And I really believe that the national instrument is the way to save the lives of our young people. And you know that you're home. I know you could walk to your panyard now. You're home, right? So congratulations, man. Yeah? All right.